And one issue which has taken center stage is Sanatan Dharma controversy. Those who have tracked Dravidian politics aren't really amused by what has been said by DMK's Udanidhi Stalin, but those who are not are reacting differently. Now, the Prime Minister has spoken about it. Do you see this as an important issue going ahead? क्योंकि एक चीज बहुत क्लियर है मैम, सब लोग अपनी अपनी ऑडियंस को एड्रेस कर रहे हैं.
Maria, if I may bring in an element of personalizing it, I have lived experience of what DMK is talking about now. The anti-Hindu, anti-Sanatan, anti-caste, particular caste, is a pronounced policy of the DMK, and they execute it without fail, relentlessly. I have lived experience and therefore I speak with confidence. Today what the minister who has sworn by the constitution has spoken is a complete non-compliance. He has deliberately, if I may use that word, cared nothing for the constitution on which he has taken an oath. He has very clearly spoken knowing that he is violating the oath that he has taken. To aggravate this, there was the minister who deals with Hindu religious charitable endowments, which is a ministry. The minister who heads that was seated on the dais even as this minister violates the constitution and speaks against, provocatively, to eradicate, to remove, to destroy one faith. This time it is Sanatana Dharma, which he openly speaks. And the minister who is supposed to guard Hindu religious and charitable endowments is seated on the dais. He doesn't blink an eyelid. So tells you that DMK, which has been practicing this for almost 70 years now, coming out of that Justice Party, coming out of Dravida Kazhagam, they are ideologues. They have been practicing all this all the while, and now a minister who is sworn by the constitution has openly said, I am here. And in fact, he went to the extent of saying, it's not a meeting for protesting against. I am glad it is not a meeting for protesting against Sanatana Dharma, but it is a meeting for eradicating. He says that on the dais.
It was a sweeping statement.
What is sweeping about it? He pronounces it. And that minister who is supposed to be the minister to take care of Hindu religious and charitable endowments is seated on the dais. Can there be a greater insult and a greater mockery than this? And there is not one voice from anybody condemning it, who are all part of this Indi alliance. On the contrary, you have Congress minister, Congress party president, you have other members of the Indi alliance also saying this in very many different words. So, no one will be wrong to infer and to conclude that this Indi alliance is against Sanatana Dharma, Indi alliance is against Hindus, and their stated goal is to work against the Hindus. And this is that Indi alliance which a minister in Tamil Nadu has openly spoken and later to be endorsed in different words by members of that alliance.
But ma'am, do you see this as dominating political discourse going up to 2020?
I would think. I would think it should. Maria, but let me ask you this. In this country, where people shed crocodile tears, talking about secularism, and when BJP speaks about that appeasement policy in the name of secularism, it used to be to please one religion and not care about the other. Now, continuing with that appeasement, it's also to make sure the other one is eradicated. Do you think this is secularism that they want? Appeasement itself is wrong. That is why you find Prime Minister Modi's policies saying everybody who should get it, whether it is Ujjwala, whether it is PM Awas Yojana, whether it is electricity or Nal Se Jal, we don't discriminate. Whereas you see that even in Karnataka, even today, it is appeasement which is dominating. So, what is the definition of secularism? You want all of us to prosper, get whoever deserves, whoever is in that category to get some benefit to get, or is this secularism? And their mind, secularism is this.
But ma'am, DMK has always spoken about it in that way. My question is, do you think they are facing the heat only because they are now part of the India Alliance or India?
They are now facing it because earlier they used to do it sleazily, slimily. The people in Tamil Nadu would suffer, but the rest of the country wouldn't, because of the language problem. The rest of the country didn't see what was happening in Tamil Nadu. If in J&K in the 90s you had the Kashmiri Pandits thrown out of the state, and that is not for the first time, it had happened generations before, and so on. In Tamil Nadu, this is happening over the decades. Since the British time, when the classification of castes were made rigid. The rest of the country didn't understand what was going on there because it was largely in Tamil, and that too, I'm sorry to say this, in foul, obscene language. It had always been that. But now when the minister has spoken, and today is the era of social media, it gets quickly Google translated. You don't even need to wait for a translator to tell you what he spoke. People are realizing, oh, what's going on? But that's been going on for 70 years. So, I'm sorry, it's not because DMK is part of the India Alliance that it's come out. It's because social media has picked it up and put it out. And I'm not naming the minister. These are people who are talking about samatwam, in the sense equal, social equality for everybody. One of the ministers himself thrashed his daughter, and in the social media you will see her crying only because she married intercaste. So the hypocrisy of the DMK politics, which the Congress, because it's nowhere in Tamil Nadu, supports blindly and mouths many of the ideologically driven language of DMK, which may not be consistent with the Congress's stated ideology. But the one worrying factor is they are all part of Break India group. Separatist language there. Separatist ideology there. Congress today stands with all the fringe groups which want to break India.